as ADA has been absolutely surging here, there's this interesting transition that is taking place. And I think people need to be aware of it. And I think it's pretty cool because it actually may be providing more fuel for this rally that we're on right now. So you guys, I want you guys to hear this. So there's a ratio. It's called the MVRV ratio, and it tracks the asset's current market price and the average price of every coin or token of that asset acquired. So it's basically kind of a distribution chart to an extent, right? So if there's a positive MVRV ratio, it signals that an asset is overvalued. If there is a negative, it signals that it's undervalued. So ADA goes through these periods, right, where it is essentially quote unquote overvalued, and these long periods where it is undervalued. And during this bear market cycle, we've been in a long period where we have been undervalued, and we're starting to work our way back up as obviously ADA price has been climbing and more holders are moving towards the green. And this is a positive sign. This is one of the reasons why I've also said that ADA overperforms in bull markets and underperforms in bear markets. This is where ADA can finally start to again begin to overperform. Now, what is happening here is we are actually seeing the total amount of ADA addresses shrinking. Now, this says this is a good sign. And at this time when it's on a pump, it can be, all right? So what this says is typically declining wallets is a sign of small holders capitulating and selling to whales at a loss. And this has in fact been taking place, and you can actually see it in this activity. So we're now at a point where over 61% of holders of ADA are at least break even or are in the money. It's the highest we've seen in a long time. It's the first time we've been above 50% in a very, very long time. So this is exciting. We're also slightly decorrelating from BTC up at 0.86 instead of 1.0, right? Great sign. Moving towards ADA separating itself from the market. But the big thing I'm focusing on here is this holder composition by time. We've talked about this a bunch. ADA is one of the longest held coins in all of crypto. It was like number 2 behind SHIB, I believe. And what has happened here is we've seen some of this long-term sentiment, some of these long-term holders begin to shift and change their position. They have in fact liquidated some of their bags and they've moved out. But at the same time, this short-term holder amount has increased. It's up to 6% now. I believe it was at like 2% before. So we're going through again this transition. We're moving from the final transition from the hands of the impatient to the hands of the patient. There are people that are taking profits or securing their losses for whatever reason, right? And this has all been taking place during this pump. And the thing is there is now fresh capital that is coming into ADA, maybe not for the first time, but at least on the way up here. And it's providing possibly more strength as we continue to go through this pump. It's the reason why ADA has been, the most dominant when you look at all these coins at the top here, right? There are very few that are up this much over the last 24 hours. There are very few that are up this much over the last 7 days, okay? ADA has been outperforming the market. It's been doing extremely well. And it's finally catching up to kind of to what everything else has done over the past few months here, all right? It's kind of been essentially a delayed fuse. And people are finally starting to get it. People are finally starting to get into ADA. Now, the question is do we continue to run here? Well, that's, I think, kind of a story for a different video. I'll make a video about that because I don't want these to get too long. But if this continues to happen, if there continues to be fresh capital flowing in, if BTC continues to stay strong, I know it's kind of toying with 44K and it's not really making up its mind here about where it wants to go. It's essentially just sideways trading. I remember a period of time where not that long ago, BTC was doing the same thing. It was kind of trading sideways, slightly to the upside, and it wasn't really making much in terms of headway or direction or anything like that, right? And it was doing that around 37, 36K, and then it exploded. And here we are. We sit at almost 44K. So know that a potential bigger move could still be coming down the line here. We still haven't had some of the better macro reports this month. We still have, remember, CPI report. We still have an FOMC meeting. Those are actually taking place next week, so be prepared for those. But man, would it be cool if we continue to rally from here. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Times are changing. We're getting towards a lot better times in the crypto market. And ADA, I think, still has a lot of potential here moving forward to close out the year. So I appreciate you guys as always. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Show your support below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.